Welcome, you wild roving band of questers and merry Ostara, or what the average Joe would call spring equinox. This is the first day of spring, where all that glitters is gold, at least with the reality tunnel that we are setting this week as we are on that journey to the stone of destiny. And this is going to be quite an interesting challenge that we have before us this week, and it's building on the message that came in last week, which was all about activating the muse and searching for that first feather you find as a way to harness the power of the muse and to harness the spirit of the wind and get that inspiration coming in that would sprout your new vision for moving forward. And it was really interesting. I dropped in with some people around this who did procure their feather that they found. And all of us had a similarity in the feather that we found. And I think that it came through in such a way for a reason. All of our feathers were hard to find. They didn't come in so easily. Normally you would think, well, certainly, it would be easy to find a feather, right? I mean, I know I normally see them all the time. When I myself went to go and find the first feather I saw, despite walking down a pathway that always is lined with feathers because there's so many birds' nests there was not a single feather to be found. And my feather actually fell out of the sky as I stopped to tie my shoes. And it was very interesting because it just kind of floated down, and it was the most unassuming, teeny tiny little feather. It was frazzled looking, and it had just a slight touch of gray on its tip. And because it fell from the sky, I looked right above me, and there, sitting on the wire, were two blackbirds, which I thought was so strange. So the feather was white. So the whole experience was just very unusual. And it led me on quite the journey, okay? Quite the wild journey, because I took my feather. I was like, okay, well, I was supposed to pick up the first feather I found. This one came to me in a very unusual way. Normally, this walkway is lined with feathers. There's like no feathers here. What's up with that? Okay. And now I'm seeing this feather, and this feather is just like the teeny tiniest, like most pathetic looking feather you could ever imagine. I'm like, the power of the muse is in this? So I went and I sat in a spot where I often sit, and there was a tree there, and I'm holding the feather. And it's interesting because I look over at the tree, and for the first time, I've sat in front of this tree many, many, many times, 3:33 on the clock. There, suddenly, looking at the tree, I recognized the dryad in the tree. It's like the dryad came forward. And then I got a whole download about the next item you have to find is an item that is gold. And I was like, an item that's gold out here, out in nature? Where am I possibly going to find a gold item out in nature? And I thought, well, I'm probably going to find something like a gold candy wrapper or something like that. Like, I couldn't imagine what I could possibly find gold out in nature. So I'm like, okay, I'm game. And so I was like, all right, let's just trust this. And in my mind's eye, I saw the image of a crown. And I thought, I'm not going to find a crown. What is this about? I'm going to find a crown while I'm out and about? Impossible. Imperceivable, right? So, I went and I grabbed my coffee because that's why I had actually gone out, and I just thought, well, I'll be on the lookout for my feather, right? So I went and grabbed my coffee, and then on the way back, I was like, I think I'm going to stop by this little library that we have here that's outside a store that is nearby where I live. And they have this little library where you can like leave a book, take a book. I've dropped off stuff there. I've taken stuff with me. And so I hadn't been there in a while, but every time I feel really pulled to go there, there's always a reason why. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to check it out. and see why I'm drawn there. And so I go to the little library and I open it up and I look, and the first thing I see are a series of books. Now, I've never read these books before, and I didn't take them with me. I just thought it was funny. It was like the first thing I saw. One was titled The Sorceress, okay? One was titled The Magician, and then the other was titled The Alchemist. And it just made me laugh because just the synchronicity of it was just brilliant. So I was like, okay, it's the most unassuming little feather. It's tattered, it's frayed. But it allowed me to finally see the dryad of this tree that I'd sat in front of many, many, many times and never noticed before. It allowed me to get a download from the dryad. It let me hear, and now here's more signs. You know, you don't get more literal than that, correct? And so I was like, oh, well, that's an interesting message. Okay, is that why I was drawn to go here? And then something told me, look at the top shelf. Okay, and so I looked at the top shelf, and I looked at the top shelf, and what was there but these cards? And I just about died because look, there is the gold crown. Now, not only that, but this goddess featured on the cover is Dana, which is also known as Danu. And Danu is the goddess that presides over the Stone of Destiny. I just thought it was wild. It was such a connecting point. And I love this deck. And I have a lot of special personal synchronicity with this deck. And when I found this there, because I don't have this deck with me anymore, but I do now, it just connected so many dots for me. It was really, really wild, okay? And it is a 44 card deck. So 44 is the number we're looking for this week. 44, 8 as well. Okay, those are your synchronicity numbers for this week. And the message that really came through for me is that we are about to enter into, well, we officially have today, but it's only going to quicken and stir in energy as we proceed further into this season. But this is the season of the alchemist, where we are meant to really transform a particular challenge on our path that is preventing us from stepping into the activation of that stone of destiny. And I already arrived at mine and my answers, but this week, for those of you who got your feather and you captured that spirit of the wind and you activated your muse, now is time for you, again, while you're out and about. It's very important that it's while you're out and about in nature, okay? So anywhere outside, you don't need to be in middle of nowhere in a rural area or anything like that. You can be in the inner city and that's fine too, you know. It's outdoors, it's out among the elements, it's out where you can feel the wind blowing through your hair, okay, where you can actually make contact with the elements, because that's how the magic comes through, all right? So what you're going to do this time is just like me, you are going to look for the first gold item that shows up to you on your path. And you are to take that with you, okay? It's a little medicine to take with you, so you take this home with you. And you are going to look at this item and you are going to study it and get in touch with what is it telling you needs to be alchemized, all right? This was a very definite answer for me, all right? Your message will be unique to you. And I'd love to hear about your experiences and what you learned from it, but you will see the fulfillment of this when you see a video that I'll put out later on Queen Mauve and some more fairy lore. Okay, we'll just keep it at that. But I have found the Stone of Destiny, so I completed my round of the 4 jewels. It happened in the most unexpected way, and I'll share all that in the video that's to come later. I'm hoping later this week, as soon as I can get it totally completed and in such a way where I feel like it does it justice, okay? Because it's a very special message that came through, and I can't wait to share all the history and the lore around it with you all. But this too, you know, whatever you find, it's some kind of key to activating your North Node. So just pay attention to that and listen to how life is communicating to you through symbolism. It'll be really potent. And we are heading into a time where there's so many aces that are going to be presented in this season. All the aces on deck, the Ace of Swords, which of course we associate with Fragorok and that sword of truth that only holds power when we pull it from its sheath, to working with the Ace of Wands, which is that spear of Lu, okay? To the Ace of Cups, which is the cauldron of Dagda, and the Ace of Pentacles, which is the stone of destiny, the four jewels of the Tuatha De Danann. So it's pretty wild because I feel like these aces are coming in for everybody. They're so readily available. They are so up for grabs. But in order to truly access the potency of that, there's a need to activate your inner alchemist, because you have to overcome a certain roadblock within that has been preventing you from moving forward. Now, we got a full moon in Libra coming up on the 25th, okay? And that's going to be a lunar eclipse. And then on the 8th, we have new moon in Aries, and that's going to be a total solar eclipse. So it's pretty wild because those are both the rulers of the nodes of destiny at this time. Of course, Libra in the South Node, Aries in the North Node. And Aries in the North Node is astrologically kind of acting as a placeholder for that stone of destiny. All right. So it's pretty interesting energies at play right now. And I do feel like it would be very helpful to dive in and get some clues about what we're being asked to alchemize as we head into the spring season. This is going to be a collective read for any of you who are engaging in this creative role play with life, where you are taking these little mini quests and you're applying them to your life in an alchemical way, where you truly are entering into that place of co-creation with spirit and allowing it to open up new doorways of perception, and along with it, new roads to explore in your life. This is road opener energy. All right. There's also a lot that remains a mystery to us right now when we're looking at that eclipse energy. And I feel like what is a mystery to us is the way that we are blocking our own way from truly activating our destiny. Okay, so I figured out what my stumbling block was. And I'm excited to see you all come across it yourselves. Okay, so this week for this reality tunnel, all that glitters is gold. Okay. And when we look at that, it's a dualistic meaning. In other words, yes, gold is a shimmery thing, and it can lead to the activation of your destiny, that Ace of Pentacles, okay? But I also feel it's speaking to the glamour that can come in, that can kind of throw us off our path and cause us to take detours, which even the detours are part of our destiny, but we can definitely head down more fated roads that make things more difficult than they need to be, where we're facing more kind of fierce challenges. And there's sort of this message coming through that we all collectively have an opportunity for a get out of jail free card at this time. But it's one of those things that fortune favors the brave. And it requires a lot of bravery to be able to look deeply into the mirror of the self and understand the ways that we need to transform. So whatever this gold item is that you find, it's going to give you a clue about that area needing transformation. So I thought I'd just go ahead and get us a few more clues from Spirit to see what else is in need of transformation for us. Oh, look at this. Okay. We got the Two of Cups. I'm telling you, this is coming into that state of unity where we recognize us as a reflection of Creator, and we enter into that divine play and the synchronistic flow of life. And this is what actually brings about those musing energies, the inspiration, and roots it in material reality where we actually see it come into being and we experience the fulfillment of it, right? Two of Cups, fruition, provides expansive intelligence and gives the grace of God, the swiftly hearkening God. So this is about things coming into form, manifesting very rapidly, all right? Once you are in that place of total openness, allowing, and you're not in your own way anymore, once you truly recognize your ability to create the path forward and you enter into the spirit of playing with the energy instead of resisting it so much, you'll be able to see how you can call in this alignment, big 8 energy, okay? And that unity point, all right? So it is about coming into that place of unity. All right, give us some more clues, angels. What synchronicities are on deck for the collective this week? What signposts are on deck for the collective this week? What do we need to be on the lookout for? Right, so do look for these opportunities to come in. Right, think of them as seeds to be planted. It's up to you if you wish to plant the seeds, but there's this piece to be mindful of, that if you choose to take the cup, or you choose to take the sword, or you choose to take the wand or that pentacle, that you also have to recognize that in doing so, you are merely planting a seed. And with that also comes the responsibility of nurturing it to fruition. Isn't that interesting? That all just landed in my lap. Okay, so we'll look at that. And that's quite a bit to work with. We got quite a little stack of cards there. And then over here, let's have a little look-see here. Okay, over here we had this Two of Cups. The same Two of Cups we just looked at flew out in reverse, and it landed on the Owl Tarot. Okay, so we're going to look at that top card at the Owl Tarot there and see what could possibly deceive us or throw us off track, because that's how Owl comes in for me, just with my ancestral lineage. Okay, Owl communicates to everybody in a different way, all right? But just for me, that's how Owl comes through for me when I'm working with these cards, all right? So it's also something for us to look at, be aware of, be able to peer through the shadows and recognize, okay? So this is something that actually can throw off that alignment, throw off our manifestation, throw off that alchemization that we need to be aware of. What is it? Top of the deck. Ooh, look at that. This is the Three of Cups, okay? So I really feel like there is something, okay, that is meant to come into alignment here, okay? A unifying of the energy. And this energy is taking the form, it can be a relationship, certainly. It can be a love union. It can be a friendship. It can be an opportunity. It doesn't have to be a relationship. It's just some element on your path that you're meant to come into a unification point with, that activates your North Node, activates your destiny. And the opportunity to come into alignment with that is front and center. But there's this energy, and it's been coming in a lot lately, which is one of these things is not like the other one. And if you'll notice, there is like this outside force here that's almost like dive bombing what's meant to come together here, and it's like trying to insert itself into the mix. And I feel like this outside element is actually something that dissipates the energy rather than strengthening it. And I'll tell you why. It's because this energy that's coming in, you notice it's only trying to toast with one. It's not trying to toast with both. Okay, so this is not coming together in a spirit of celebration and unification. It's more something trying to create some kind of disruption in that coming together. It's a thwarting influence that is trying to keep this union from taking place, this union with you, with your North Node of destiny. However, that's manifesting for you in your life at this time. For all of you, it's something different. For some of you, it's coming into alignment with your spiritual path at this time. And you're sort of dealing with this like arch nemesis energy, okay? It's like the standoff at the OK Corral. and there's something that you have to master internally in this situation. The answers are not found from outside of you. The keys are all within you, okay? And that's the kind of energy coming in. This applies no matter the nature of the challenge as well. Even if this is, for example, coming through as somebody interfering in a relationship coming together, or causing some kind of conflict or separation in a friendship, or trying to ace you out, so to speak, get that ace before you in terms of some kind of opportunity, coveted opportunity, long held desire for position, okay? So there's some element here that is coming onto your path as an instigator in some cases, a challenger in other cases. I got a troll in some cases, a troll who wants you to pay the toll before you can cross that bridge to get to the other side, to get to your destiny. But do they have a right to hold that place? Do they have a right to exact a toll? There's something here that's out of alignment. It's out of harmony with what's wanting to be created. But the source, and this is the trick, is it's coming from within you, and it's manifesting externalized in this manifestation of a so-called nemesis, okay, or a third party. Now let's get some more details about this. Over here we have 5 of Pentacles, the forbearing God, patience, reveals secrets of nature, spreads knowledge and industry. Okay, so when we're looking at that eclipse energy that's coming in, we know that there's things that are concealed under that light of the full moon that's coming in Libra. Libra has something to do with karmic cycles. So there's also this message of before we can really achieve the full potential of the aces that are on offer, 2211 on the clock, before we can come into alignment with that thing that we are meant to unify with, we first have to close an old karmic cycle. But there's a lot about this that we don't understand yet. And we may not even have the correct door that we're meant to close. There might be some missing piece of information that you need to come into alignment with. Again, the gold item you find will give you guidance about this, but you're not going to find the answers from outside of yourself. In order to unlock the mystery of the gold item you find when you're out and about, you're going to have to look within, okay? The keys are all inside of you to open these doors. And when you arrive at the keys, they're going to reveal the secrets of nature to you. And this is how you gain that ability to act as the alchemist. It will give you an incredible amount of knowledge. And this knowledge that you gain is meant to be shared in some way. That also will be revealed to you. Okay, we have the 6 of Cups coming in here. So definitely coming into alignment with some kind of soulmate energy. Soulmates take many forms, right? Soulmates are not just love partners, romantic partners. They can also be teachers on our path. They can be mentors in some capacity. They can be even a nemesis. People often forget this, okay? A soulmate can be somebody that you view as a challenger on your path, and they are there as a gift. All that glitters is gold, okay? They are there as a gift. They cast a glamour over you so you can work a bit of that coyote magic where you chase your own tail and you run yourself in circles. But through doing so, every time you go in a circle, like think of running in a circle, you start making a little spiral inward. You come more into alignment with the center of yourself. You start realizing the ways that you're tripping yourself up. That's often the gifts that these challengers on our past provide, is they're illuminating something for us, the ways that we need to place blame outside of ourselves for what's actually being sourced from within, okay? Now you may say, well, what about people who are abusive, or what about situations where, you know, something is really unjust that's going down? It's trying to awaken within you some source of empowerment that can only be activated through that situation, as horrible as the situation may be, right? This is how we can make sense of some of the more traumatic experiences that we've been through in our lives. It's like that Mary Oliver quote. Someone once gave me a box of darkness, and this too was a gift. Okay. That is the gift. The gift is what is able to be alchemized that could not awaken within the self in any other way. I don't claim to, have full understanding of why such atrocities have to happen in life, why there has to be such suffering, or why sometimes people are put in these horrible situations. But we all know stories of triumph where somebody was really just like down for the count and went through the most devastating set of circumstances. And it awakened within them a beast, but a beast that allowed them to overcome the impossible, and not just overcome it, but rise up in such a form that they were able to activate a destiny that never would have been even within the reach had they not been through that experience. And when they did activate that destiny, it wasn't just activating a personal moment of success or liberation. It actually was an activation on a much greater scale. It's like legacy level, It's like leaving something behind that inspires others, that guides others, teaches others, uplifts others. Some of you are really transforming a lot of heaviness, a lot of trauma, a lot of pain that you've been through. And out of what you went through that was such a disillusioning experience, you're coming up with pure gold. You are seeing what the gift was in that box of darkness. And there's something about this that's aligning you with your true path. It's giving me big judgment vibes here. It's judgment in your favor, even as judgment may be cast upon those who oppressed or those who harmed. I also feel like you're coming into alignment with people that are going to be journeyers with you, travelers, fellow travelers on the road. People are meant to share the road with you on the road to that stone of destiny. It says motivation lifts up those who are fallen and humiliated. So something's coming in to awaken. It's to awaken the motivation to heal. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you go through an experience that's so devastating, it's such a great loss that you can't even find a reason to rise, right? Something's coming in that's like an awakening moment. It's a gift. It's a gift that is going to have like you connecting the dots and understanding why everything had to go down exactly as it did. Because if it hadn't gone down just that way, you wouldn't be able to even receive this gift. It would be impossible. You wouldn't even recognize it as a gift. Okay? Whatever happens here, it's a restoration. It's a restoration. It's a realignment. And it moves you out of that place of being humiliated to a place of humility. And there's a difference. It's really being inspired by the awe of life. How masterfully what seems inconsequential or what seems uncorrelated actually weaves together in the most synchronistic way. So do look for very important people to cross your path between now and that new moon coming in Aries on April 8th, all right? Very significant encounters, despite what the relationship is like, okay? Don't get taken in by that, okay? Don't get taken in by the glamour. There's gold there, no matter what it looks like on the surface. There is gold there if you activate your alchemist. We got Knight of Cups. Okay, water sign energy, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. The revealing God, perception and revelation, discovers hidden treasure, reveals secrets of nature. Do you see what I'm saying? It comes through in an unassuming way. And in doing so, it opens up the opportunity for that alchemy with the cauldron of Dagda, that water energy, the cups. Okay. the ability to receive. There's emotion that comes forward that offers you the ability to receive personal fulfillment. It shows you hidden treasure in a situation that you saw nothing but all out loss before. Really potent energy. And then we have here Page of Wands, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. This is the message coming in. This is the spear of Lu. This is the activation point, the propagation of the light. Okay, might come in through a message from somebody, an unexpected advancement, hearing from somebody who reveals something that you did not see before, and this thing changes everything. This new understanding that comes in changes everything. It's like an aha moment. And it says, confounds the wicked and slander, saves from enemies. But I also get that it saves from the enemies you created in your own mind. It saves you from the enemy that is located within, because whatever we see without is also within us. And there's this mirroring energy that's coming front and center this week that wants us to be very mindful of this as a collective. Very potent indeed. All right. We're going to go ahead and do a cut of the deck here. We got justice. All right. Justice. This is the karma coming into a place of balance from the old cycle. And a new cycle of karma begins, and it was 31:44 on the clock, okay, when I brought that in. So 444, here's the synchronicity coming in. Justice makes truth known, causes innocence to prevail. So this is some powerful energy here. And, you know, there's that saying, justice is blind. Justice is blind. There's a key in there too. Really think about that, about justice being blind, right? It's not with the eyes that can see that you arrive at the truth. It's through the inner vision that that balance is reached. It's through the inner vision that you align with the greater truth, okay? And you're going to arrive at some significant truth. Okay, with that Ace of Swords there, Fragarok, that's going to allow you to finally settle this karma. It's something that makes your heart lighter than the feather. Isn't that interesting with those scales of Ma'at there, right? This energy coming in, something that frees the heart, lightens the heart so it can finally be open to receive the fulfillment that wants to come in. All right, let me see what we got on the other side here. Seven of Wands, liberation. Deliverance from enemies, both visible and invisible. I'm telling you, it is coming in, right? So this is where the new chapter begins. And there is an activation happening here. There's a quickening. There's coming into alignment with the ability to bring thought into form and to recognize oneself as being the source of outer circumstances, but it requires having this focus. So obtain the gold item, because the gold item, whatever it may be for you, all right, is going to give you a particular clue, and it's a magic all your own. Now I want to get the Goddess Guidance Oracle cards here and go ahead and see what they have to impart, because this is the deck that I found when I was led to find my gold item. Look at this right on the bottom of the deck. We have abundancia, prosperity, okay? Look at this. And there's some gold too. Look at that gold pouring out from the heavens above. There's more than enough to go around. This is the truth. There's an endless supply. I feel like this will allow you to turn that base lead that views there not being enough into that gold, where you recognize there's more than enough for everybody. And as I said that, there was a hawk that flew by the window. Messages from spirit. And right behind that, there we go. There's Dana, also known as Danu. She's called by many names. She is the queen of fairies. She is the birther and suckler of gods and the mother of the Tuatha De Danann. It is the magics, the 4 jewels that are sourced from her, all right? And we got the high priestess energy coming in here. So this is the floodgates opening, and it says you have divine knowledge that can help others through your spiritual teaching. And yes, something you arrive at here is meant to be passed on. It's meant to be shared. And how is it meant to be shared? It's meant to be shared through the ways of the bard, through oral tradition. There's something about sharing these stories that allow others the space to share their stories too. And this builds a momentum as well, right? Some things you can't learn about in books. They are learned experientially, and they're also not meant to be shared through the written word. They're meant to be shared in stories around the campfire. So this is about getting back in touch with more of that roots energy, getting in touch with our ancestral energy. And that's also a source of empowerment coming through. It says the universe is pouring its abundance out to you. Be open to receiving. All that glitters is gold. Look at that glittering gold with abundancia. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so let's see. Let's actually shuffle these cards and see what wants to come in for the collective. Any guidance for the questers? Danu, as we move forward into this week, as we allow ourselves to enter this reality tunnel, to look through this window in the grid together, and to make a little real life magic with each other just by actually being actively engaged with our lives and creating a spirit of play and creativity around how we move through the world this week by looking for that gold item and seeing how it speaks to us of what we need to transform, what we need to alchemize in our lives. Some alchemical key is what it will provide you when you discover your gold items. So I would love to hear your stories. And for those of you who shared with me, who did the quest for the spirit of the wind, and you came across your feather and you shared your experiences, I just really appreciate that. I love to hear the sharing and spotting those threads of synchronicity. To me is what it's all about. And I also wanted to say that I do believe that the reason why the feather was so hard to find and why it seemed like all of us found a feather that was just kind of a little bit lackluster, which it's interesting that came through, like, don't judge the feather that you find. I think it's because, you know, human beings always desire like all the bells and whistles. They want that big moment, and it's the magic is found in simplicity. The magic is found in the simple things. The unassuming things sometimes are the things that hold the most power. So don't judge a book by its cover. Because what seems like a very small thing can become a very big thing. And this is also part of fairy. Fairy very much works with that sort of like oppositional energy, the irony, you know. It kind of turns everything on its head, and that's actually right side up. So just be open to a new way of seeing the world, a new perspective, and just a willingness to embrace a little of that spiritedness you had as a child where everything was make-believe. Well, they say make-believe because if you make it in your consciousness and you play with the energy and you create it, you'll be a believer because you'll see it manifest in your physical reality, right? And that is the lesson of the alchemist. So let's check it out. Okay, Goddess, what guidance do you want to give the questers this week on the road to the Stone of Destiny? And with this particular reality tunnel, what do you want them to know? Where are we being led? Where are we going? In this realm of pure imagination, what is it going to reveal to us? What do you want us to be aware of? Ooh, okay. And that landed in a crossing position over here, right on top of my glow-in-the-dark playing card. So I'm going to take that top card too, just to cap off this read in true fashion. Oh my gosh, look at this. There she is again. Okay, so we know you're being intuitively led to something that is going to give you an alchemical key that unlocks the door to your destiny, right? The activation of the stone of destiny. It's all inside of you, right? I can't wait to hear what people find. Oh, and isn't this interesting? The energy matures because we had first the Knight of Cups came in, right? And now we have the Queen of Hearts, which is also that water energy, all right? Very interesting. What's behind that? I have to see. Oh my gosh. Oh, yes. You're coming into alignment with a true pair. We're going to leave it off at that. Wild. It's about to get interesting.